it. Right, that's doing it. Right, so I'll hide that. Okay, so what we want first then, we need to make a folder where your website stuff is going to live. Okay, so on the desktop or in your media for folder, make yourself a folder and call it website today, webby, webinary, whatever. Make a folder somewhere and call it website or something. And excuse me, if you want to go onto the Study Direct page for the course, I've made a little folder called Web Files, and so there's a few little pieces of whatnot in there. There's some Photoshop files and stuff like that that we might use in a little bit. Okay, so we don't need to use it straight away, but just download that. It's called Web Files, and there'll be a little zip file called Web Mess.
Where's that?
It's in Session 2, Practical Resources in Creative Media, Digital Media. Yeah. Download that and move that, copy that Web Mess folder that it makes, the zip folder, into that web folder that I've just asked you to make. Please.
The zip or
The folder.
oh, just the folder?
Yeah, just double click it and it'll be open, and then
Copy everything into.
yeah. Yeah. So you should have something like that. So you should have your web folder that I asked you to make, and then a folder that says web mess or something. You got that? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, great. So let's go and open Dreamweaver. So Dreamweaver is down at the bottom in the dock, and it's a DW in a green square. Right, and then hopefully, once you open Dreamweaver, something comes up that looks a bit like this, or you've got something else. Okay, it looks like this then. Yeah, so I'll just wait for everyone to get their Dreamweaver on. Everyone. Okay, so what we need to do is set up Dreamweaver to put files where we want them to be and understand the file path to the content that we're going to make. Okay, because if you do it wrong, then it's basically what Dreamweaver's doing is writing code for you in the background in secret for you. And if you've set things up wrong in the first place, then it might write code wrong for you, and then things won't work, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, I spent ages on this and it doesn't work." Okay, so what we can do, if we just create a new HTML, so just that first one in the middle, click on that. Okay, but what we want to do is change the view that you're in. Okay, so go up to the top right bit where you've got it saying something that I can't see.
Classic.
And change it to classic. Yeah. On that part of your screen. Can't see that big screen.
I don't know what's
So classic is the comfortable mode of using Dreamweaver for me, and probably Paul as well, because that's the version, that's the old-fashioned kind of layout way. But you know, like with the other Adobe bits of software that you were using last year, there's different layouts of all the panels and everything. You remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
Hunter does. So what we need to do now is set up a home folder that is where all the files are going to get written to that we make and save, but also so that the code is written correctly when we make links and save images and things like that into wherever it is. Okay, so over here at the bottom right corner you've got this little file browser thing. Mine says Fred because that was the last one that I set up, but I've got a few here: site, test2, Webby, and at the bottom you've got manage sites. Okay, so if you click on that, then you'll get a box come up where you can create a new site. Hang on a second. What's happened to yours? Does it not work? Oh, didn't it? Oh no. Okay, so in here we need to set up a site, and it's quite straightforward. You just need to press new site, and in here give it a name. So call it whatever you want to call it. Like my one before was called Fred. I'm going to call it Digi 2. And then in this little bit underneath you've got the local site folder, and you can see this big path that takes us to something. And I asked you all to make a folder before, didn't I? So what you need to do now is find that folder in this little local site folder. So browse for the folder. So click on the little folder icon here and then go and find that folder that I asked you to make. Can you remember where it is? So mine's here, 001 website. I'm just going to choose it. So now it should look something like that. Was it not in the dock then, at the bottom?
Oh, it was, but you need to open it. Really drag it up.
Oh, and then it turned into a little
Yeah,
slide. Okay. Alright, have another go at opening it in one place or another. And, oh look, those are pieces. Yeah, just press OK. Yeah, it's not working, is it? Okay. We need to write down what computer number this one is, and then I can put in a report for it, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. So if you want to sit a bit closer one side or the other with someone and follow what they do, and then remind me and we'll put in a ticket about that. Alright, so you've all got this far with it?
Shall I save it now?
So then press save, yep. And you should have it on your list of things. Let me get rid of those ones. There we go. So I've just got my new one, Digi 2. You've got yours that are called whatever they're called. Okay, so you press done. Right, so now you're in the Dreamweaver world, and it looks like this, and it's not all that creatively inspiring, is it? No. Okay, and we're in design view. Okay, so you can see over here the view of the software that you're in. You've got code, view, split, and design. Okay, if you go into code, then you get this sort of thing. Okay, do you want to work in that? No. Worried looking shaky heads. Ooh. You can work in split view, which is sometimes quite useful for things. So you're doing stuff over here and you can see what's happening code-wise on the left-hand side. Or you can just ignore all of that sort of thing and just work in design view. But you might find that you'll need to pop over into the code, depending on how deep you get into the whole piece of software. Okay, so for now we will stick with design view. Okay, up here you've got little shortcuts and stuff to things. You've got a little preview in a browser. You've got your web page title over here. You've got the properties inspector down at the bottom. Properties inspector is really useful, and whatever you've got selected, you'll be able to see the properties for it here. At the moment, you're just working on an empty page. So you've got the entire page's properties at your fingertips here. So we're going to click on that and just have a little look at what we can change inside there. Okay, so this will affect the entire page, the view of it, the color, how links appear, stuff like that. Okay, so page properties. At the top here you've got page font, and it's set to default font. So there's a bunch of font groups that are generally what people use in websites, and there's a kind of a standard around all of that sort of thing. So when you go to most websites, they use the same typeface, don't they? Or you don't even care, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, now and again something might use Times, now and again it might use something else that you're not quite expecting, but basically there's a bunch of fonts that you can choose. And if what's happening is, in the HTML page that you are going to make and save, when it gets opened on a computer, the browser will look for the default font families that are available to it, whatever it is set to, I don't know. Normally it's something like Arial and Helvetica. Okay, if you haven't got Arial on your computer, it'll replace it with Helvetica, and vice versa, and it'll carry on through these until it finds the one that is going to work. Okay, someone might not have Verdana, but they will have Geneva, things like that. Do you see what I mean? Kind of makes sense. And you can go in to your web browsers yourselves and change how things present themselves to you anyway. But this is just you controlling how the web page is going to look by choosing a default group of fonts. You know, so you might say, I want everything to be done in Helvetica, so I'm just going to choose this one. Okay. You can go and edit them as well. There's loads. So you can do it the other way around. Helvetica. Yeah, and then you can say Arial second. Where's that? There we go. So that's come up down the bottom of my little list there. One of those is probably on everyone's computer, if not both. You can set whether it's going to be always bold or italic. You can set the size that things are always going to be. We'll go and change things. This is all default at the moment, so it's going to be one particular size, and then black on white. There's no background image, and other things are going to be in there that you can poke about with as well. But this changes it for everything. Okay, so just so you know, you can click on text color and change that to one of these HTML colors. You can click on the background color and change that. I'm going to make mine a little bit grey. Yeah, yeah. You can load in a background image if you want to, but I would leave that for now. And you can say whether that's going to be tiled, you know, so you remember those websites that had those tiled backgrounds all over them that look really cheesy. People don't seem to do that so much anymore. You can set margins, we're not going to worry about that. You can play, here's a bit more to do with the background image, putting in stuff, but also links. This little bit of it here. So this is appearance HTML. Okay, so these bits. So your normal text, let's just leave that at black. But you know, normally when you use the internet, a link is blue, isn't it? Yeah, so you can see on this WYSIWYG page for Wikipedia that these links are blue and they underline when you put the mouse over them. Yeah, so you can change that if you want to. That's the default, but you can go in Dreamweaver and you can change it. So you can change links from blue to that hideous green or red or whatever, slightly darker, lighter grey. And then when you've visited a link, have you noticed that if you've been there, it's a slightly different colour when you go back? It's a little bit darker. Did you ever notice that, anyone? Yeah. So you can set that in here as well. And then active things, so when you roll your mouse over something. Rollover links, visited links. So you can see there's quite a lot of things that you can poke about within there. Okay, stuff that we don't need to know about, but other bits that are reasonably useful. If you press OK or if you press apply, it's going to apply that to this document that we're working on. So now I've pressed apply and you can see that I've got a grey background. Some people have got green and other colours. Yeah. So that's applied that to the page. So we press OK and now we can start doing something. Oh yeah, just before we carry on, over in this right hand side where your little where you set your site up, you can see what's in that folder that you made. If you copied that stuff into it, the web mess thing that I asked you to download and put in there, you can see that's in there. Okay, so that's where things are going to save, and it just helps you to be able to see stuff, and you can move things around, and it shows you basically the map of your website. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to make a table and we're going to put some text in it, and then we're going to save it as a page and then do the same again and link these two together. And it's not very exciting. So if we go up to insert, up at the top, you did that. So insert table, and then we'll get this box that comes up for inserting a table. So you've probably used tables in Word, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what a table does. You can set rows, however many rows and columns you want. And then you've got, I'll skip over table width, but we'll come back to it. Thickness of the border and the cells and the spacing of the cells. So it'll probably say border thickness 1 and padding and spacing nothing, or there won't even be anything there. Set all of those to 1, like we've got on here, just so that we can see stuff. And then if we look at table width, is yours set to pixels or percent? Pixels. So change it to percent and change the percentage to about 75 or something like that. Okay, so what that means is that it's a springy table, and if you make your HTML page, if you drag it out really wide, it will always cover 75% of that HTML page. Yeah, so the narrower you bring it in, the table will contract and it'll expand when you stretch it out. Okay. If you want it to be a specific size, then you stick with the pixels. But we're just messing about at the moment, and I think it's fun having springy tables. So put it to about 75. Okay. We'll leave the header stuff alone, but accessibility down here, where you've got caption and summary, this is to do with screen readers for partially sighted people and other handicaps that might be that someone might come across when they're having to build a website for a lot of different sorts of people to use. Okay, so you can put it, you can name the table, you can give it information, and the screen reader for a partially sighted person, for example, will read the content of the HTML page and pick out the fact that this is a table and the content is about something. Okay, so when we make some buttons, we'll have a look at that sort of thing as well. You might not think it's useful at the moment, but maybe it is one day. So it's accessibility, and there's alt tags that come up for that as well. So we've got a couple of rows. Have you set it to 4 and 4 or something like that? Yeah, set it to whatever. 5 rows, 5 columns, 75% table width, and border, cell, and padding, all ones. Okay, and then press OK. And then you'll get a table appear in the top left corner of your HTML page. Have you got that? Yeah. So in the bottom right corner there's a little handle. On the right hand side there's some handle, and then at the bottom of it there's a handle as well. So you can click and you can drag these things around so you can resize your table. Okay. Isn't that wonderful?
Life-changing.
It is life-changing. Okay, so if you click off this, then you can see that you'll get the flashing cursor kind of thing on the right-hand edge of it. Can you see that? Yeah, if you clicked away from it, so that means it's not selected. You've selected the page again. But if you click and drag over it, over the table, then those little handles will appear, and you've selected the table. And you can see down at the bottom in the properties what you've got selected. You have got the table selected. Have you got the table selected? If you haven't, can you select it, please? So just click and drag from off it to on top of it. Yeah? Yeah. Alright, so you'll see the properties down at the bottom. What we want to do is just center this table so that it's in the middle of your page. So you can go down in your properties, you can see you've got a little icon of what it is, tells you that there's 5 rows, columns, 75%, padding and spacing and border, and then alignment, and we'll put center in there. So that'll chuck it into the middle of your page. Woohoo! Okay, so what we can do now is we can put some text in there. So what did I do? Let's have a look. In my little example, oh look at that. I went on the internet and I went to that Lorem Ipsum website. Lorem
There's a
Ipsum.
hipster version of it here.
A hipster version?
Yeah.
How's that different?
It's just got like hipster words in it.
What on earth is this?
Hipster Ipsum.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh.
I don't know how to find it, but we'll be showing it at Business to be.
ODO, pork belly jean shorts, Cosby sweater, try hard. Alright, well do a Google search for Lorem Ipsum or Hipster Ipsum, and if you don't know what it is dummy text that you can use to give your website or print document some body text that you can use as if you're going to do something with it. Okay, so look at that, Brooklyn craft beer. I like that. Slow carb, Etsy, VHS, etc. Authentic, actually casual selfies, fab. Oh, brilliant. Right, I'm going to nick 2 paragraphs from there. So just take 2 paragraphs from wherever, hipster or lorem. Okay, so just copy 2 paragraphs and then go back into Dreamweaver and then just paste them into one of these cells.
So how do you select just one of the
So you just go and click in a cell and then press paste. So Command and V. Sick.
like pink as well.
Oh right, you set the... Lovely. Alright, so have you all got some text in your table? Almost getting there. So what's happened with this is once you've bunged it into the table, it's moved all the cells around, hasn't it? It's made a bit of a mess of things for you, which is a bit annoying. But what you can do is you can go into the cell and you can move onto the cells themselves, and you can see you can just move things around again. Okay. If you want to make the font smaller, then you should just be able to select it and find the thing where you can make it smaller, which is somewhere. Where is it? It's not in there. Class, no, that's not it. Format. Never do that. No. Where is that? Who can find out how to make the text smaller?
Page properties.
Page properties. Oh right, okay. So you do it for all of it in there.
Wait, which one should you click on?
Right. So that's in page properties then, just for the whole document. Okay, so you can do that with using headers and stuff like that to change the type of text that you've got in there. Yeah. All right, so you've got some text in a cell, everyone. Yeah. All right, so let's type some text into a cell as well, just because we can. Let's give one something like a title, T-I-T-L-E, title, and we should be able to change the format of that over here. So if you select the text, then down in the properties for that selected text, you can make it bigger and smaller and stuff with heading. Where's the other bit though?
Where are you doing with this with the text?
I've just typed in there, and then down at the properties for it at the bottom, you've got format. And so you can change it to some preset sizes. Oh, here you go. Do that. Let's not bother too much with it. Okay, so you've got a title bit of text and then a bit of body text, yeah? Everyone has? Yeah, that's fine. That's all right. Right, so one thing I just want to quickly show you, and then we'll save this. So up at the top here, your web page is called Untitled Document. Yeah, if you make a website, make web pages, and you leave that bit as it is, then you're going to have contributed to 57,300,000 results of web pages that are probably called Untitled Document. Okay, someone's even made a website that's called untitleddocument.co.uk. It's probably a good idea to name your pages that you're working on, okay? So up in here, where it says title, you can give it a name, even if it's just web page 1 or something like that. And that's saved as part of the page in the code, okay? And so when you look on Wikipedia, you can see you've got WYSIWYG, excuse me, Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. That's what this will appear as, okay, up at the top on this bar of the website. Okay, creative media, digital media, Google, yeah, you'll get that. It'll come up like that. Okay, so that's there. Right, so what we want to do is save this for now. So we'll go to File and we'll go to Save As, just so that we get all of this. And you can see that it's trying to save it into my 001 website folder, the one that I made earlier. Is that the same for everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give it a name. It's untitled1.html at the moment. When you make websites for real, your main first page that you want everyone to go to is your index page or your home page or the home page. So if you call it index, what will happen when a web browser goes to whatever it is .com and you've got an index.html page in there, the browser will automatically just pick up on that index.html page and open that. When we mark web pages, we expect to see index.html as your first page that links to all the other stuff. Okay, so you need to make sure that you call it index.html. Home works as well, home.html, but index.html is the best one. Okay, so please use that. If you don't, it's confusing for us and not necessarily the right way of doing things. Okay, so index.html, save. And you'll see that'll appear in your little local file thing down at the bottom in the right hand corner. Oh, that's because you're trying to replace my stuff. Alright, so have you all saved it? Are you all totally excited by this? No. Alright, so what we're going to do now is make another page. Shall we, or should we just use the page 2 that I made? Yes, let's use page 2 that I made. So you either have a little folder in there called webmess, or you already have page 2, page 3, page 4 in your local file viewer down here. Yeah, so what we want to do is just move some things around, okay, and it might break something, but it'll fix something else. Okay, so page 2, we can see here, if we just drag that into site, oh, update. I don't want to update anything because I'm going to remake these links, okay. So let's just press don't update. Yeah, you don't need to on yours. Okay, so what you should see now is index and then page2.html.
What is called
Session
session 2?
2.
When you say update or when you say don't update?
Just got to have it.
Session 2.
That's fine. So that's my stuff that's in there as well. Yeah, it's left now. And what I'm asking is for you to move that into here. That's your don't update. Okay, so now you've got my page that I made and your page that you made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so right,
Is everyone alright with that?
Yeah.
So if you double click page 2, then you've got a page that looks a little bit different to what we just had. But it's got Lorem Ipsum text in it and it's got a couple of things that are links. Okay? So what we want to do is make the index page link to this page. How are we going to do that? Does anyone know? Nobody knows. Okay, so let's do that. So let's double click index. So we're back here and all we want to do is just select a bit of text somewhere on it and then we're going to turn that into a link. Okay, so I'm going to select the word Banksy because I spotted that on here somewhere. Where was it? Banksy, there we go. So I'm selecting a word. Okay, and so this is going to be my link. So on index, select a word, and then you see down at the bottom you've got your properties. Okay. And what we can do here is you can see the word link down at the bottom. Yeah? You've all got that. So you can type something in. There's a little drop down menu that doesn't do anything. There's this funny little target point to file thing, or there's a browse for file. We're going to use the target point to file thing. So what you do is you just click and drag, and look, and you get this big stretchy arrow that allows you to drag it over to wherever your thing is that you want, page2.html, let go, and then it will turn that word that you had selected into a link, and you can see link page2.html. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so we...
Should
Huh?
I do something? It's highlighted and stuff.
Yeah, you've made the link. That's all right, it's not you doing anything yet though.
Ah, okay. Well, I should be able to
Oh, no,
see
no.
it from present.
Yeah, so it won't work yet because what we need to do is save the page. Okay? So go back up to File, Save, and it'll update that index HTML page that you have, that you're messing about with, that we're all messing about with. Okay? Nothing really looks like it's changed. And you've got your page 2 HTML in there as well. So what we should be able to do now is check this and make sure that it works. There's a couple of different ways we can do this. We can go up to the preview debug in browser thing, which is this little world up here near the code split design view stuff. Sometimes it doesn't work though, but let's just try. Preview in Firefox. That's what mine says. Does anyone else's do that? It's not worked. Mine didn't work. Why did it do it that way around? I'm on the wrong page. There's my link. Alright, and so that works. Whose doesn't work?
As in, I can't find the web page.
So as in, can you go and press on the little world and then preview in Firefox?
You can get that option, but I can't actually preview it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If yours works, then that's really great. If yours doesn't, then let me come and have a look. But you should just be able to pop from one to the other. And not back again. The preview, have you saved it?
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. And then set up the full link loads of pages. Yeah, click on there. So that's right. So preview. Yeah. So that's one way that sometimes it works. The other way is that's the folder we made, yeah. So we've got that's that one. That's that, yeah, so that's there, so that's loaded. And we'll pull it to there. Oh, so that's cool. Okay, so it works. Cool. Does yours work? Does yours work?
Yep.
Yeah, does yours work?
No.
Does yours not work? Okay, right, so if it doesn't go to Firefox, then...
Do your prioritization.
So where is your folder?
Documents.
Documents.
History.
So it's these two, yeah? So that works. And then gluten-free takes you there. Yeah, so that does work. It's just that jumping out to it here.
Because it doesn't say what's in it.
Okay. Yeah, you can edit it a little bit. Sometimes it's just not going to make it work. Does it work over here? Does it work over here? Well done. So you've made a page that links to another page. How does that feel?
It's amazing.
Amazing. Okay, so if you just double click page 2 then in Dreamweaver, this page is made slightly different to the other page, the first page that you just made. Okay, so this is boring techie stuff, and I need to show you really what's going on with this, just so that you have a bit of an understanding as to this boring techie stuff. So if we just go back and look at, you can just watch mine if you want. So I'll just open my index page that I made. The same is for what you've all made as well. So you can see that there's a border on the left and right side, and this table sits in the middle. Okay. So as I change the size of the web page, you can see it stays proportionally the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's because of that percentage, 75% thing that we put in. So if I go and load in that other page that I made yesterday, here, it doesn't do that. And what you can do is you can hide stuff by accident. Is that good? Yeah. It is.
No, I don't like it.
If you want someone to read your website, it's not all that good, really. If someone's on a smaller screen computer, they might miss things and they might get annoyed with having to do that and stuff. Okay, so
Especially mobile devices as well.
yeah, and on mobile devices, it probably would turn into a real nightmare.
So when you're like looking at something on another page.
So what's happened here is that I've made this page in a slightly different way, and I've used what's called an AP div. Do you want to have a go at making a div?
What is a div?
What is a div? It is as a design layout object.
Okay.
And so you can see the problem with these divs is that they don't move around. Okay. However, I think it's that one, page 3. Yeah. So this one, this is another page that I made. But look. What?
It works.
So this one, and this one, Okay, so there's a difference between these two. Has anyone got any idea?
You've done something.
I've done something, yeah. I have done something. What I have done is I have converted a page that has been made initially with divs into a page that is now has a table in it. So it remembers the content of where it was when it was a div, and then it puts it into a table for you. Yes.
Oh, using a table to do that.
So let's just remake this page too with these AP div things. Okay, so file, new, HTML with none of this business down here, so it's just HTML none. Yeah, so we'll have one of them. We've got an empty page like this. Give it a title. So this can be our page to div. We're just going to be quick with this, okay? So we want to now go to insert, and where is it? Ooh, is it there? Is it there? Is it here? Layout objects, and then AP div. Yeah, so go up to insert, layout objects, AP div. AP div. So Paul likes using these for making web pages that he does, and I haven't got my head around them properly. So he's better at this way of doing things than me. What you've got now is a square rectangle, sorry, with a little handle on it, which you should be able to get hold of. There you go, and move it about and put it wherever you want. And so the code that this makes is telling you, or telling the browser that this little rectangle is going to be somewhere. Okay, and you can change the size of it, blah blah blah. Okay, and you can, if you click in it, you can see that you can put text in it. So you can paste in, oh no, not untitled document, some more of that hipster or whatever it is text. You can put tables into them as well. Okay. So just make another one of these. Make two. So insert AP div Oh, we'll do something clever with this one. Right, so we're going in a bit of a loop now. We're going to do something else, and then we're going to come back and then finish off what we're doing with this little div stuff. Alright, so you've got text, and you've got an empty div with nothing in. Yeah, make one that has nothing in it. And now hide Dreamweaver and everything else. And if you go into that webmess folder of mine, you'll see that there's something called Rollover 01 PSD. Yeah, so open that, and it'll open Photoshop for you. Okay, so you've all pressed OK because it's come up with a little box, and then you've got rollover, white text on a black background, and then if you look at the what's it over on the right hand side, the layers, you can see you've got different versions of it all, and there's a little surprise in there for you as well.
How do you see the layers and stuff again?
Go to view, window and layers, or go to essentials and change it to something else. Over that. Move it that way. Pop
Sausage roll.
Have you found the little surprise that I made for you? Sausage roll. Okay, so what we want to do here is we're going to make a rollover button. Okay, so what that means is that when you roll over a thing in your web page, the thing will change into something else. Okay, it's a really simple little bit of interactivity, or whatever you want to call it. And so you've got a couple of options. You can change this rollover from, you can reverse it basically so it's black on white, or you can swap it out for the little picture of a sausage roll. It's up to you. Okay, so what we need to do though is export this as a JPEG or a GIF or something. Okay, and then save it where we need it to be so that we can put it into the HTML page. So if you want to leave it like it is, white text on a black background, then go up to File, and then let's go to Save for Web. Has anyone looked at Save for Web before? Yeah? So you know what it's all about? Not really. So in Save for Web, what you can do is you can export your images for the internet, and it's all about image compression. So if you have it set to 2 up, so if you click up at the top here, you'll see you've got 2 up and 4 up. If you just select 2 up, then you'll get 2 versions. The top one being the original Photoshop file, and then the bottom one is probably some kind of JPEG or something. And if you have a look at the JPEG, if I just zoom in on here, you can see the difference between the two. Okay, so that's my original file, and this is it saved out as a really low quality JPEG. Okay, this is a black and white graphic really. So do you know the difference between JPEGs and GIFs?
The GIF, the quality stay the same, whereas JPEG would.
A GIF,
Like a vector image.
maybe. A GIF only has a limited number of colours in it. Okay, so you can see here that there's a palette of 256 squares, and only a handful of them are being used here. Okay, so they're really low sizes because they're low image resolution. Whereas if it's a JPEG, you can have millions of colours, but the quality might. The file size could be really big because it's going to have a million colours in it, or thousands of colours or whatever. So for something like this, it doesn't need to have loads and loads of colours. There's a little bit of a few grey pixels to make the letters. So you might as well use a GIF, and so you can see from 100% JPEG, you've got a 6K image, and if you turn it into a GIF, then it's 1K. Not that that really makes much difference anymore, because the internet is so fast, but this used to be a big deal. And so you used to have to sit and compress all your images right down to make sure that they would load really quickly. And what you can see here at the bottom of the screen for the 2-up version is how long it would take for this, as if it was a 1K image, to load on someone's computer through a 56K modem. Who uses one of those anymore? Not us. Some people still have to, but you can change the settings on here so you can see how quickly it's going to take with a 2 megabytes per second modem, but it's the same. It's just there in an instant, really, because it's so small. Okay, so you want to change this to a GIF. GIFs can also do animation. Yeah, we'll have a look at that next week, I think. But for now, this is just a little graphic file. Okay, it's not a photo; it's a graphic. So the G in GIF is for graphic. Okay, so we'll save that as a GIF, and we want it to go into that folder that we're working on. So save as, and it's called rollover01.gif. Before you press save, make sure it's saved into that folder, and look at what we've got here. We've got format, and mine set to images only. You can save stuff out of Photoshop as HTML, which hopefully we'll have a quick look at. But all we want is an image, okay? Yeah, so press save, and now do the same thing again, but turn it into whatever else. Whether you want it to be a picture of a sausage roll, or you want it to be rollover in the opposite way around.
Say again, sorry?
So save it as the other version of the picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So save it as a sausage roll, or save it as black on white text, and then give it a different name, like 2 or something like that when you save it. So rollover 01, rollover 02 GIF. We all alright with that? Take that as a yes.
We're saving it again as a GIF.
Yeah, but with a different number.
How do that? Just file save that.
So when you go into save for web,
I'll save it.
yeah, press save, and you just change the number where it says rollover 01. Call it rollover 02. I just got rid of everything.
Sorry, where did you change the name again? Yes,
Yes, you are. Here.
Ah,
Do we put them into the website folder or the website?
In the website folder. How did I just do that? Right, where are we? Okay, so you've got those two? Yeah. So we're finished with Photoshop for now, so we can go back into Dreamweaver. And then in this div that we made, we can insert that rollover thing. Yeah. So just click inside the new empty div, and then if you go to insert and then image objects, and you can see you get rollover image. Okay, so you've clicked in the div, the empty one. So you've selected that you're going to work on, and then you're going up to insert image objects, rollover image. So in here, you're going to give it a name. This can be sausage roll over. Yeah, and then you find the original image and then the rollover image. So you just need to browse to them. So browse, rollover 1. And this is telling you that it's just writing a relative path, okay, which is useful. And then you want to do the same for the rollover version. So the sausage roll one is number 2. Okay. And then you've got a little thing to check preload rollover image. So that'll make sure that when you load the web page that other version is there as well straight away. Otherwise the website would be having to go and get that remotely and come back. So it might take a little while. But because the internet's so fast, it doesn't really make much difference. So you might as well leave it on preload. And here you've got the alt text, which is the accessibility thing. So you could have it read out the link with a screen reader thing. You know, so it could say sausage roll or link to a sausage roll shop or something like that. Yeah, but we're not going to bother with that. And also you've got when clicked, go to URL. Okay, so here you can put in a link to whatever you want in the same sort of way that we did with the little target thing where we dragged that. You can browse to another page by just clicking browse and then going and finding another page if you want to. Or you can type in a web address just in the same way that you can do there. So I'm going to, when clicked, go to URL. I want to go to, I wonder what it's called. Oh, gregsfamily.co.uk. There you go. Why didn't that link come up? So I'm going to go to Greg. Oh, copy link. I'm going to go to Greg's family.
Should we be doing this as well?
Do whatever you want. But yeah, you can link that to anything, okay? And I just want to show you that you can link to external places as well as other pages that you're making. Okay, so that should be in your div that you made. Is this good?
Yeah.
That's all right then. So give it a little save. File, save as. This can be page 3. Page 3. In your website folder. Have you got something that's going to link to it?
If you click browse, we just copy and paste it into the.
If you want to browse for a page that you
Yeah, I
have
found
made.
one. I just choose that hipster.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so then, oh, the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, then just paste it in and press OK.
Us.
Okay, so you want to make one of your previous pages link to this, don't you? Yeah, so you could go into page 2 or index and just select another bit of text that you're going to turn into a link. You know how to do that now, don't you? But you remember that you have to save it each time because that's publishing the page for you. Right, so that goes there, that goes back, that goes there. Whoa, look at my rollover. Yeah. And that goes to, Greg's. Why is it doing like that? I'm going to apply for a job there. No, I'm not. Okay, so is that making sense? So you can add text to, you can add links to text, and you can add links to images, and you can put images in all of these little cells if you want to. You can play about with the formatting of the cells as well. So all of this at the moment is set to be left justified, but you can center everything. Stick everything up at the top, right, bottom. So we all alright with this?
My links have gone weird.
Your links have gone weird.
Yeah, how do you check if your link works again for the last one? I have saved it, so I click out of it.
Yeah, just go and test things back out in the Finder. We'll just go back to the folders on the go in here and turn that into a link.
Turn this into a link. Oh no, was it web page?
But what you might have not done, you might have made the link in Dreamweaver but not saved it yet.
I think I have to.
You need to remember that you've got to save your things.
This is in there.
So we have a little break for a minute with this and let people catch up that need to catch up. Yeah? And I'll give the recording software a little bit of a break. So, having a break.